Welcome to part 1 of my new 3D product animation series. Over the next few videos we are going to model, texture and animate a yogurt bottle from scratch. In this video we are focusing on modeling the bottle. So let's start by adding a reference image into our scene. You can download the one I'm using from the link in the description or feel free to use your own. To edit, first press numpad 1 to go into your front view, then press Shift A, go to image and select background. From there just select the image file you want to use. Now scale the image down a bit and position it so the yogurt bottle is sitting right in the middle of your world origin. This makes everything much easier as we start building. And now we could make the bottle out of a circle, just extruding it up and adding a subdivision modifier, but we are not going to do that. Instead we are going to use a single vertex and extrude it to follow the profile. So for that let's add a plane, go into edit mode, press W and select merge vertices, then collapse. Now we have just one vertex to work with. Let's press E and extrude it to the left. By the way, let's quickly tab out, select our image and decrease the opacity just like you see on the screen. So select our object, go back into edit mode and start extruding that vertex to follow the bottle's outline. Try to keep your extrusions uniform, basically keep the distance between each point roughly the same. And also make sure your first and last vertex are sitting approximately in the middle, like you see on the screen. We will need this because we will be using the screw modifier later. Now that we have this result, let's go to the modifiers tab and search for the screw modifier. After that, press Ctrl+A and apply the scale. Then change the axis until your bottle looks correct. Here we can change the viewport steps and other settings. You can see with the current settings the bottle edges might not be fully smooth, but that's okay, since we will add a subdivision modifier later. Now let's press Shift D on the bottle, right click, then press M, select New Collection and name it Backup. This way, if we mess up our model, we have a backup. And you can click the eye and camera icons here to hide that folder for now. We can also move our image to the reference collection, select it, press M, New Collection and name it Reference. Now let's select our bottle, hover over the screw modifier and press Ctrl+A to apply it. We need to improve our topology, so let's go into edit mode. Here on the top your vertices are most likely disconnected. So before doing anything, tab out, press Ctrl+A and apply the scale. Then go back into edit mode, press A to select everything, press W or M and then merge vertices by distance. That way all the duplicated vertices will collapse into one. Now that we've cleaned up our topology, let's add a subdivision modifier by pressing Ctrl+2. You can see the bottom of the bottle is not completely flat. To fix that, go into edit mode, select the bottom vertex, enable proportional editing and press G. Then scroll your mouse wheel to find the appropriate editing amount and move the bottom of the bottle up just until it looks flat. I think something like this should work fine. We need to do the same with the top of the bottle, so let's select the top vertices by going into the front view and then press S, then Z, then 0 to flatten the top part of the bottle. Everything looks great right now. Next we will work on modeling the bottle cap. Before adding a new object to our scene, let's check the normals of our object. Press the viewport overlays icon up here and enable face orientation. If you see everything in red, it means normals do not face the right direction. To fix that, press tab, go into edit mode, select everything and press Shift N. After that you can disable face orientation in the menu. Now let's go into edit mode again, select the middle vertex, press Shift S and choose cursor to select it. Tab out, press Shift A and add a mesh cylinder. Here in the menu at the bottom left, the amount of vertices you have is probably 16 or 32, but we need to crank it up to 260. You can see that the cylinder appears much smoother that way, and that's exactly what we need. Now let's scale it down until it matches the reference image. You can also scale the object without changing its height by pressing S, then Shift Z to block the Z axis. Go into edit mode, select the bottom vertices and make sure you turn off proportional editing. Now let's move the bottom vertices to about right. You can see that our bottle cap has some extrusions and ridges, so we will need to add a few loop cuts to the model. First let's check our scale. If it's not 1, press Ctrl plus A and apply scale, so all the modifiers and tools work correctly. Now tab into edit mode and let's add some loop cuts. See how I do it and use your image for reference. Now select these two edges with Shift Alt right click and press Ctrl B to bevel them. We do not need any additional loop cuts inside the bevel, so scroll your mouse wheel down. To define our ridges, let's put 2 loop cuts with Ctrl R. Just follow the process you see on your screen. Everything looks great, now we need to bevel the top part. Again, double check your scale, if it's not 1, press Ctrl A and apply it. Then go into edit mode, select the top vertices, press G and then Z to move them up a little bit, then press Ctrl B to bevel them and use your mouse wheel to make the corners smooth. Now I will select all the top vertices again, press G and then Z to move them down a bit. We need to deselect the bottom row, so press B, then click your middle mouse button and drag to the selected bottom area. Press S and then Z to flatten the selection down a bit. I am referring to the left side of the cap here. Next, select the top face, press I and insert it a couple of times. Then go to front view again, enable proportional editing and press G and then Z to make the top stand out a little bit. Tab out of edit mode, right click or press W and shade smooth. Now let's work on the ridges. We will need to do a lot of extrusions, so let's make sure face select is active. For that, press 3 or click this icon up here. Alt right click to select this ring of faces, then go to the select menu at the top and choose checker deselect. You can see that now every second face is selected, creating a pattern. Press Alt E, select extrude faces along normals and extrude these faces inward. Now guys, if you add a subdivision surface modifier right now, your PC will most likely blow up, so don't do that. Instead, we will use a bevel modifier. But before we do that, let's extrude the faces we beveled earlier. Alt right click on them to select the loop and extrude them inwards as well. Now add the bevel modifier. The amount of bevel depends on the size of your model. My scene units are in meters right now, so I will switch them to centimeters for more precise work. To do that, go to the Scene Properties tab and under Units and Lengths, switch meters to centimeters. Now let's play around with the bevel amount. I will set mine to 0.015 centimeters and add 3 segments. Also, under the shading drop-down, I will tick harden normals. If you look closely, we can make these corners look even better. Go to the geometry drop-down and change my to auto from sharp to arc. let's finish the last piece of the bottle. Select the bottle body and press / to go into the local view. In edit mode, select the center vertex on top and press Ctrl+ on your numpad to expand the selection. Then press X and choose faces to delete them, or press X and F. I will exit local view by pressing / again. By the way, we should rename our objects in the outliner right now. Let's name them cap and bottle. It will be much easier for us to track things later. Now with the top vertices of the bottle selected, press E then S to extrude and scale it inward to match the reference image. Then press E then Z to move it up, press E then S to scale the selection down a bit and move it up. Then press E and S again to create the rim on the top. Let's select these edges with alt-right click and bevel them with Ctrl+B. We can also set the profile shape to 1 in the bevel settings menu to make it bulge out slightly. Okay, so that looks fine. I think we can bevel this bottom edge here as well. Now let's enable visibility for our cap. I will now slightly tweak the height so the bottle and cap do not overlap each other. To finish this setup, select the bottle and press Shift S, then choose cursor to select it. Then press Shift A, go to empty and choose cube. Let's scale the empty down to approximately the size of the bottle. Now select the bottle, hold Shift and select the cap, and make sure your empty is the last selection. Press Ctrl+P and choose Object, keep transform. Now whenever you move or manipulate the empty, your yogurt bottle will follow it perfect. And that wraps up the first part of this tutorial. We have our bottle and cap ready to go. In the next part we are going to model some berries to add detail, and then we will texture the whole thing to bring it to life. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.